My name is Mike.
My name is Maggie.
Erica.
Justin.
Have you, a family member, or even a friend ever received a hand-me-down? And no, I'm not talking about clothes. I'm talking about organs. There are many organ transplants that have occurred over the United States. Organ transplants save lives and give people a second chance at life. I researched organ transplants from the very first successful documented organ transplant to modern day transplants. It's amazing to see how transplants have evolved over the period of time. Transplants have evolved from the first human-to-human transplant to now involving technology. It's amazing to see what a little time and trial can do in medicine. There are many transitions in transplants that are still being evolved to this day. Organ transplants are so valuable because they're the last resort that give a patient a second chance at life when their other options have run out. The first successful transplant was a kidney transplant. This was performed in 1950 on a patient named Ruth Tucker. She was diagnosed with kidney failure, which her mother and sister have both died from. Doctors thought the impossible. They wanted to do an organ transplant, which had never been done before. So they found a donor, they got a pair of kidneys, and they went into surgery. This first documented transplant is such different from others because they didn't have immunosuppressants. Immunosuppressants are drugs that prevent organs from rejecting themselves, which is a very big cause in these procedures. On June 17, 1950, the surgery was successful. The patient ended up passing away. This was because although this transplant was successful, there weren't any anti-rejection drugs, known as immunosuppressants. This caused her to go into rejection and die. This transplant had a lot of hindrance because it lowered the organs available. This is because during this time, you needed an ideal match. You need someone to be immunosuppressively identical to you. This means they had to be the correct genetics, gender, physical abilities, etc. This led patients to be at a greater risk for organ transplants. As time went on, organ transplants were more discovered and immunosuppressants as well. The first well-known immunosuppressant is cyclosporin. This was discovered in 1980. There were some downsides to this though. For example, it increased the waiting time for organ transplants. In an article by Drekik S. in 2015, it was said that the sicker the patient, the more chance they had in getting the organ. Hopefully, if this happens to someone in your family where they're in need of this organ transplant, the conditions in being able to receive one is not as harsh. Another downfall to this is time. When a patient passes, there's only so much time before their organs become non-usable. This can be conflicting with the family when they've just lost a loved one and the doctors are trying to convince them to donate their organs. That is the last thing that they're thinking about. Imagine not having to wait for an organ transplant, not having to spend years of your life hoping that you can have another day to be able to successfully receive an organ one day. What if organs could be grown in a box or even printed 3D? This is what is currently being researched in the modern day. Bioprinting has left a big footprint on the US. They are looking into mimicking the makeup of organs and printing them their own. Imagine, you have just been diagnosed with kidney failure. You have lost hope, not knowing whether or not you're going to receive a transplant. The phone rings. It's your doctors telling you the best news. Your heart drops, but in a good way. They tell you that you don't have to wait for that 1 in a million chance. They say that they can print you a heart right then and there, a kidney right then and there, not having to worry about it. That would be amazing. The pros to this is it would eliminate the need for anti-rejection drugs. This is because they would take the genetic of your own DNA and mimic it into an organ. So there would be no reason for rejection. It also is a pro because you wouldn't have to wait. You wouldn't have to spend those years on the waiting list hoping to get an organ. They would print you one right then and there. This improves both the quality and quantity of the patient's life. This is how organ transplants have evolved from human-to-human transplants to now involving technology. These eliminate changes for the better and not having to wait for organ transplants. With technology and medical advancements, who knows where this can go in the future? Hopefully, this will cause patients to have a better hope for tomorrow. Thank you. Yay!